I'm Fraser Keir, Birkbeck's Academic Registrar, and I'm really delighted to welcome you to Birkbeck's virtual graduation and to take this opportunity to congratulate you on reaching this milestone in your studies. We know it's been an incredibly difficult year for most of you because of the global pandemic. I'm really pleased that you've made it here today to celebrate and to mark your fantastic achievements alongside family, friends, and of course your fellow students. We know that today will be different to our usual in-person graduation ceremonies, but we have worked hard to ensure that it mirrors the spirit of them, and we hope you'll feel it does. We'll also be hosting in-person celebratory events for you so that you can meet your classmates and lecturers once it is safe to do so, and we'll let you know more about these at a later date. Before we start today's event, we have some housekeeping information for you. Please keep your microphone muted until the round of applause after each group's names are announced. We hope you will take part in giving a big round of applause to celebrate our graduate successes at that point. Now, you should be able to change the screen on the device you're watching on today. If you can, we suggest putting your screen in presenter view to view all the videos and live content in full screen. You can select gallery view if you want to see everyone in your virtual room, but this will make the videos appear smaller, and if you're watching on an iPad or iPhone, you may need to scroll to another screen to see everyone in your group. I would like to remind you that today's event has been recorded, it is currently being live streamed on YouTube, and the recording will also be made available after the event. We'll start today's event with some messages before moving on to the awards. Thank you very much for taking part, and I hope you will enjoy it.
Welcome to this graduation ceremony, in which above all we celebrate the achievements of you, our graduates. Those are the words that I begin my remarks when I speak in person at normal graduation events. But how much more true are they today? The normal Birkbeck graduate in normal times has performed tremendous feats. They've had to balance their working lives, their family lives with their studies. But you, our graduating class this year, have had to do so much more. Perhaps you had to deal with childcare issues. You had to deal with homeschooling. You had issues around your work and so on. You've been working somewhere perhaps where the Wi-Fi kept cutting out. But nonetheless, despite all of that, you have achieved what you set out to achieve. And today is about saluting your achievements and recognizing the tremendous efforts that you have taken in order to achieve your aims in this very, very difficult time. And that is why I have chosen to speak personally at each of the graduation ceremonies rather than giving a pre-recorded address, so that in some small way I can indicate to you how much I and the whole college values your achievements. Equally, of course, the college has done its very best to provide you with the best service it can under these very difficult circumstances. A year or so ago, we went online very rapidly. We managed to teach for the remainder of that year online. Over the summer, our academic staff, supported by the administrative staff, put in a huge amount of effort to make sure that the online service that we provided for you from October onwards was the very, very best that we could. And I hope you have found that to be a fulfilling academic experience. So it's been a partnership between you and the college, and we very much want that partnership to continue. As you move on and become one of our 65,000 alumni, do remain associated with us and do tell us about your stories. We've launched now an Our Birkbeck campaign, in which we want individuals to tell us what they're doing for society, what they're doing in their jobs, and how their Birkbeck degree has helped them to achieve that, so that we can understand much more about our Birkbeck community. Equally, of course, there is an enormous demand to join our Birkbeck community. Record student numbers were enrolled last October. People who presumably had decided that now was the time for further study. Perhaps they had the time at home for reflection to decide that they wanted to think about some subject that they hadn't thought about before. Perhaps they were worried about their job and wanted to train for a new career or in order to develop the career that they already had. And this demand, which is being maintained now with applications for autumn 2021, is really showing us how important Birkbeck is, particularly at a time post-Brexit, hopefully soon post-pandemic, when there will be a need for new forms of employment, for people to change careers and change jobs, where the old system in which you did an undergraduate degree, perhaps a master's degree, and then you worked for 40 or so years until you got your gold watch or clock, is not going to happen anymore. People will change, and the world and education needs to change with it. Government has started to realise that. It's putting in place for the very first time a lifelong learning allowance, which will allow people to study throughout their lives. But we are urging the government to do something now. The learning allowance will not start until 2025. Now is the time for government to do something, to perhaps fund short courses so people can retrain, to give priority strategically to part-time and mature students, such as many of you are. And we urge you to join us in lobbying for that. Speak to people when you can over Zoom or whatever, and tell them about your Birkbeck experience so that we show the government how important this experience is. Equally, I know that many of you, relatives and friends of the students, of our graduates, are watching this on YouTube. Please do also speak about that. Thank you, first of all, for your efforts, for helping your graduate. Perhaps you had to give up the kitchen table so that they could use their laptop and work. Perhaps you had to deal with the children while they wanted to work. But we have another message for you, relatives and friends, other than thank you, and that is Birkbeck is for everyone. You too could be graduating from Birkbeck. Perhaps in a year or two's time, I'll be able to congratulate you in person when we return to our in-person celebrations of graduation. So please do think about that. And everyone associated with Birkbeck needs to tell the world how important Birkbeck is. We are approaching now our 200th anniversary. In December, Birkbeck will be 198 years old. And in 2 years' time, we will reach our 200th anniversary. Very few institutions reach the age of 200, but still fewer reach it in a way that they are doing what their founders would recognize. If George Birkbeck, our founder, were to reappear on the screen now, he wouldn't understand about master's degrees. He certainly wouldn't understand about Teams or Zoom or all these other things, but he would understand that Birkbeck is supporting working Londoners and people around the world to achieve their aims, whatever the constraints of family or work that they may have. A few years ago, I went to a meeting of a few leading businessmen, and when I was introduced, one of them said to me, "Birkbeck," he said, "when I see that on the CV, I put that to the top of my pile, because your students have got the commitment that I want in my business. You have demonstrated that commitment tremendously, fighting your way through all the issues of the pandemic in order to achieve your aims. You have joined the 198-year roll of Birkbeck graduates, and for however long you have your career, people will always recognize that you have graduated under special circumstances. The class of 2021 has an outstanding achievement. On behalf of all at Birkbeck and myself, I salute your achievements. Thank you."
So, welcome to the graduation ceremony this spring. We are the Department of Cultures and Languages, and you will know some of us, if not all of us. And we're really sorry that, it's been a really tough year. And one of the consequences of that is that we can't be with you there on the day. But we hope you nonetheless will have an enjoyable graduation ceremony. And we would like to offer you our heartfelt congratulations for all the work that you put in and the extent to which it has paid off so magnificently. So you've got your awards. I hope you have a great day, and we will be with you in spirit. And I'm going to hand over now to Damien, who'd also like to say something.
Thank you, Martin. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you personally as MA Programme Director. I've had the privilege of teaching many of you in person over the last year or two. And all that remains for me to say really is to congratulate you on obtaining your degree in, often trying circumstances, and to wish you all the very best for your future lives and careers.
And those of you who are also taking BAs, then the congratulations extend to you as well. So many congratulations from all of us.
Hello, we're really thrilled to be here at Spring Graduation to say many, many, many congratulations to you. I'm Carolyn Burdett. I'm the head of the Department of English, Theatre and Creative Writing, and you'll see on the screen here some of the tutors who you've been meeting and working with over the last few years. We are immensely proud of you, not least for the way that you've dealt with one of the most challenging situations that probably many of us have encountered in our lifetimes. You've done absolutely brilliantly. We're absolutely thrilled to bits that you are graduating today, and we want to wish you the biggest possible congratulations. Well done, all of you.
Well done! Well done! Hooray! Hooray! Well done!
Well, 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 who would have thought even a year ago that we'd be sending you off virtually into what will hopefully be a post-pandemic world of opportunity. Thank you for joining us on what's been an incredibly surreal journey over the last year. Huge congratulations on reaching this milestone. Getting a degree is no mean feat, even in the best of times, but I think you deserve at least an extra pat on the back for doing it under such challenging circumstances. But as well as challenging, I hope that the changes imposed in your last year of study have been rewarding and enriching in their own right, as they have in many ways for us. And I think it's fair to say that the future is looking a lot brighter than it did certainly this time a year ago. Although things remain as uncertain as ever, it's worth remembering one thing that makes your graduation particularly unique and outstanding. I think throughout history, human catastrophes have tended to give way to giant leaps in progressive social change. The birth of the NHS was rooted in the traumatic legacy of the Second World War. Who knows what's to come from this particular traumatic episode, but in many ways, I think it's a very exciting and hopeful time to be graduating. And we just want to wish you all of the very best in all of your post-study endeavours. Please do stay in touch and stay well. Love from FMAX. Woo!
Bye, everyone.
Yay!
Hey!
Sorry we can't be there in person, so that's why we are recording this message. I am starting, as I've now the privilege of being the head of department. And we just want to say that you have been awesome students. We have enjoyed having you here very much, and we hope to see you again soon. But for now, many, many congratulations on graduating, and enjoy the event, even if it's online.
Good morning, everyone, from the School of Arts in Gordon Square. Master, President, distinguished guests, I present the following graduates from the School of Arts. For an MA in Comparative Literary and Cultural Studies, Antonio Kakutza, Isaac Saldariaga Rusi, and Elizabeth Winslow. For a Certificate of Higher Education in Culture and Language, Faisal Rafiq. For a BA in French and German, Chantal Krishnadasan. For a BA in French and Global Politics with International Experience, Askia Gabidon. For a BA in French and Management, Genevieve Galula. For a Certificate of Higher Education in German and Global Politics, Anna Sult. For a BA in Global Politics with German, João Moreira Neto. For a BA in Spanish and Global Politics, Priscilla Policarpio Amancio. For a BA in Spanish with Italian, Malvina Sochaca. For a BA in Spanish, Portuguese and Latin American Studies, Shone Sabrina Hockley and Nancy Lehman-Garre. For an MA in Contemporary Literature and Culture, Scott Anderson, Katie Cohen, Cheyenne Lee Hunt, Kaylee Woods Harley. And for an MA in Creative and Critical Writing, Azad Sharma. So please now unmute yourselves and give yourselves a huge round of applause. Many, many congratulations. Fantastic achievement. Well done. It's great to see you all.
Everyone.
Congrats, everyone.
Congratulations, everyone.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Very well done.
Congratulations, everyone.
So for an MA in Creative Writing, Sophia Abbott, Safina Akram, Neve Fitzgerald, Susan Gilbert, Nicola Gottlieb, Karine Harb, Sally Jubb, Katrina Knox, Minna Lacey Tolamash, Badero Lahamni, Karen Levy, Mary Moraine, Josephine Syria, Sharon Shaw, Harmanjit Sidhu, Saisha Sweeney, Aisling Toomey, Elizabeth Wood. And for an MA in Cultural and Critical Studies, Philippa Adams, Maria Alice Arkandi, Sarah Bors, Simon Bowie, and Jonathan Harrison. Congratulations, everyone. Please unmute and give yourself a huge round of applause. Brilliant achievement. Congratulations.
Well done.
So, for a PhD in English and Humanities with the title Dublin's Dadaist, Brian O'Nolan, the European Avant-Garde and Irish Cultural Production, Tobias Harris. For a PhD in English and Humanities with the title Ghost Representation, a study of bodily ghosts and materialization of mind and body in mid-19th century female writers' ghost fiction, Mari Takumi. And for a PhD in English and Humanities with the title Imagining the End of Capitalism, Utopia and the Commons in Contemporary Literature, Alexander Cabot. For a PhD in English Literature with the title A True Homer of Women, the use of rhetorical figures and structural paradigms and the presentation of female characters in the early prose works of Robert Greene, Gerald Killingworth. For an MA in Medieval Literature and Culture, Harrison Taylor and Catherine Turley. For an MA in Modern and Contemporary Literature, Neve Bridget Adeniyi Jones, Felicity Baines, Jessica Brooke, Maria D'Souza, Alexa Hall, William Kenny, Anna Milnes Gaskell, Jordan Ryder, and Shota Tozawa. Please unmute, give yourself a huge round of applause. Many, many congratulations, everyone. Congratulations. For an MA in Renaissance Studies, Samantha Chambers, Anita Garford, Robert Powell. For an MA in Text and Performance, Clara Anich-Kaliger, Vanessa Benson, Anna Byrne, Juning Chang, Alexander Gatherer, Emma Louise Howell, James Jackson, Ruby Phelan, Carolyn Seidel, Michal Sheshtek, and for an MA in Theatre Directing, Anthony Hoskins. For an MA in Victorian Studies, Charlotte Belson, Nishani Cadwallander, Ronan Daly, Sally McDougall, Hayley Parker, Samantha Perrin, and Ursula Tondell. Congratulations, everyone. Please unmute and give yourselves a big round of applause and a wonderful celebration. Congratulations.
Excellent work, excellent work.
And me.
Fantastic. For an FDA in Arts, Media and Management, Sylvia Barani. For a PhD in Arts Management with the title Taiwanese Identity and the Performing Arts, the Development of Programming at the National Performing Arts Center, Meng Yu Lai. For a postgraduate diploma in Arts Policy and Management, Michaela Seder. For an MA in Arts Policy and Management, Arbi Ronel Cabading, Vanessa Campos de Michaelis, Francesca Danesi, Benedetta Gentileschi, Gabriela Gasheva. For an MA in Arts Policy and Management, Alexandra Isaacs, Alexandra Kavanagh, Bojana Nikolic, Sofia Herrico Oliva, Amanda Sarkan-Mante, Malgorzata Skiakiewicz, Siyan Venus Yu, Marta Zandri. And for an MA in Digital Media Culture, Victoria Longster and Antonia Maguire. For an MA in Digital Media Design, Amelia Zhitko, Rebecca Gray, Sarah Leontovich, and Shukri Mohammed. Please unmute your microphones and give yourself a huge round of applause. Many, many congratulations. For an MA in Digital Media Management, Lau Alberg, Jamie Kavaadis, Carla Pausek, Kofi Tando. For an MA in Film and Screen Media, Petra Babic, Krzysztof Dubitsky, Victor Gomez. For an MA in Film Programming and Curating, Isabel Gibbs. For a PhD in Film, Media and Cultural Studies with the title The Well-Made Screenplay, a study of the screenwriting of British stage playwrights 1930 to 1956, with special reference to the work of R.C. Sheriff, Crispus Cottis. For a PhD in Film, Media and Cultural Studies with the title Regulatory Paradigms and Elite News Media Narratives, an exploration of public discourse and agenda building following the 2008 financial crisis, Adam Cox. For an MA in Investigative Reporting, Sana Maria Latimaki, Marcus McTurk, and Renata Mora da Silva Rodriguez. For a postgraduate certificate in journalism, Rafael Battaglini Camargo. For an MA in journalism, Noor El Hakim, Julia Garbellini, Daniel Halpin, Vimal Chanda Joshi, Beatrice Mayo, Oluwaseun Okowole, Gay Ozturk, Karina Pryushnina, Sandra Priesnitz, Sabina Regilin, and Kelly Ann Smith. So please unmute and give yourself a huge round of congratulations. Brilliant work. Congratulations, everyone. Well done. Fantastic. So for a PhD in Media and Cultural Studies with the title, sorry, I'm missing part of the title here, The Value of a Regulatory Space Approach in the Postmodern Era, Josephine Coleman. For a postgraduate certificate in screenwriting, Tanya Riley. For an MA in screenwriting, Natalia Albin Legoretta, Paula Anhesini, Samis Chatsiliadis, Simon Delafond, Eliana Bell Gattisman, Massimo Malavesi, and Ameya Akasha. For a postgraduate certificate in web design and development, Ursula Kesek, Saif Mohammed Saeed, David Nogueras Marina. And for an MA in history of art, Sarah Bloomfield, Bryony Botwright Rance, Madalena Brown, Noor Butt, Luca Campione, Geraldine Chacon Villarreal, Alianor Cross, Anuri Guneskera. Congratulations, everyone. Please unmute and give yourself a huge round of applause. Wonderful achievement.
Well done, everyone.
Yes, finally.
For an MA in History of Art, Ferry Lichtenberg, Robert McCaffrey, Kimberly Nicholson, Yiran Su, Karim Sultan, Roger Turner, and Emily Welland. For a PhD in History of Art with the title Modern Mistresses on the Old Masters, Women and the Writing of Art History, 1860 to 1915, Maria Alambritis. For a PhD in the History of Art with the title Amusing, Interesting and Curious, The Paper Peep Show in England, 1825 to 1851, Shijia Yu. For an MA in History of Art with Photography, Francesca Cronin, Sasha Morse, and Anna Elizabeth Shader-Bishin. For a postgraduate certificate in the History of Photography, Emma Darwin. For an MA in Museum Cultures, Reshmi Banerjee, Francesco Brunetti, Carlotta Iris, Elizabeth Cleary, Freya Larne-Jones, Georgie Pilkington, Lucy Shields, and India Whiteley. Huge congratulations, everyone. Please unmute and give yourselves a big round of applause and a cheer. Wonderful achievement. Congratulations. Congratulations. And we have for an MA in Comparative Literary and Cultural Studies and Modern Languages, Althea Nakip-Bekova. For an MA in Text and Performance, Annabelle Morley. For an MA in Creative and Critical Writing, Elizabeth Lovett. For an MFA in Theatre Directing, Emily Oulton. For an MA in Text and Performance, Fatima Seghini. For an MA in Victorian Studies, Kaylee Miller. For an MA in Investigative Reporting, Lauren Beecham. For an MA in Museum Cultures, Evgenia Radionova. For an MA in Text and Performance, Martina Meluzzi. For an MA in Investigative Reporting, Natalia Ferrero Cristancho. For an MFA in Creative Writing, Olivia Brinson. For an MA in Arts Policy and Management, Olivia Masengi. For an MA in Text and Performance, Pooja Sivaraman. For an MA in Digital Media Management, Lucia Canto-Mira. For an MA in Modern and Contemporary Literature, Brankitza Green. And for an MA in Creative Writing, Ruth Newman. So please unmute and give yourself a big cheer and a big round of applause. Congratulations, everyone. It's absolutely wonderful to celebrate with you. And I would like to thank you very much indeed for attending this virtual graduation today. Congratulate you all on your success and wish you the very best for the future. So please keep in touch with Birkbeck and with the School of Arts. And this concludes the presentation of graduates from the School of Arts. So now I'll hand you over to my colleague. Thank you and congratulations again.
President, Vice-Chancellor, graduates and graduands, guests and colleagues. In these times of COVID-19, when social distancing has forced us to move the most significant date in the academic calendar, graduation, online, it is perhaps worth reflecting on some of the other crises that the college has faced during its long history of nearly 200 years. As you already know, Birkbeck was established as the London Mechanics Institution in 1823. It's impossible, I think, to exaggerate just how revolutionary the initiative was. At that time, 1/3 of all men and 1/2 of all women were unable to read or write. But more importantly, British elites were passionately hostile to educating working people. After all, the country was in political turmoil, and it was feared that educating the lower orders would destroy society. In particular, there was moral anxiety. 1825, Minister E.W. Grinfield fumed about the risks of educating working men. He argued that it would be far better that the common people of this country should remain totally illiterate than they should be thus furnished with tools by which they would inevitably work out their own and the public ruin. Educating women was also risky. The London Mechanics Institution was unique because as early as 1830, it allowed women to attend classes. This means that Birkbeck provided higher education for women long before other institutions in the UK. After all, women's colleges such as Queen's College in Harley Street was not founded until 1848, and Bedford College the following year. Now, admittedly, the institution's committee continued for at least 3 decades to debate the propriety of admitting females attending lectures through the front entrance. Nevertheless, allowing women to attend classes was extremely progressive. And that was what was considered dangerous. As one critic complained, mightn't this lead to social intercourse with the other sex, which cannot be beneficial to morality? So, from its foundation, the London Mechanics Institution, Birkbeck, was unique. Crucially, the leaders of the college from 1823 to the present shared one central belief. Birkbeck is about its people, their thoughts and ambitions, hopes and dreams, labours and laughter, hubris and failures. In sum, as we near the bicentenary of our founding, this is the time to celebrate the capacity of a Birkbeck education to help us become fully human and self-fulfilled by learning to use all our faculties: knowledge, imagination, sympathy. Perhaps it is time to resurrect what used to be Birkbeck's anthem. Vita Cabdima was composed in 1913 and is largely forgotten today. But at the centenary of the college in 1923, it was sung vigorously. The chorus went like this: at the hub of all the world, London surging round us, keep we Birkbeck's flag unfurled, nothing shall confound us. I can think of no better chorus for us today in the midst of epidemic. Today, like those times, we will not only survive, but flourish. You are now our alumni, and we are incredibly proud of you.
Hello, everyone. It's a great pleasure to reach out to you like this on such an important occasion, your graduation. My very best congratulations to all of you on this very special day. Congratulations on having stuck it out, having completed your course and earned your degree. Well done to each one of you. Now, the pandemic, of course, is dominating our lives and continues to do so, and probably will do for some time to come yet. But not all of it has been doom and gloom. I've found time to read, and I've rather enjoyed reading poetry. There's a poem by Robert Frost you probably know, and I've read it again. It's called The Road Not Taken, and it begins, "Two roads diverged in a yellow wood," and it goes on to tell how he couldn't decide which of two beautiful roads to take, and he regretted that he could only choose one of them. It ends, "Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less travelled by, and that has made all the difference." Well, I think that thought seems particularly appropriate at the moment, and in many ways, and for you too. The country has to decide which way to go about lockdown, about vaccines, about opening shops and restaurants, about letting us have holidays. And each of us now faces choices of our own, diverging roads in our lives. You are now facing such choices with the added excitement of having achieved something momentous in your life, your Birkbeck degree. The times could not be more auspicious for making such choices. That's your good fortune. Do you continue to work from home? Do you change jobs? Do you move to the country, away from city life, as many are now trying to do? Apparently, inquiries for buying homes in Cornwall has never been this high. Or do you attend to the more practical, important things of life? Do you consider what your future life will be like? What scope does your new qualification give you to make many of these choices? Might you change track? Take up further study? I know, you could even become an artist. My programme, Portrait Artist of the Week, which ran on Sky Television right through the lockdown, had some 2,000 artists who came online to take part, a little like Grace and Perry, but perhaps a little bit more serious. And they were artists who worked at home all the time. That was their way of earning a living. They didn't earn very much. They worked in a shed and they were totally happy with what they're doing. So other lives do cast an idea for us on what might be possible. Now, I'm not suggesting rush off and become artists, but what I'm saying is life has many different roads to take. Will you plan how you could live on less money? Will the employment you have be shifting, and with it your own options? There's never been a time more dense with options, with divergence in the road. And you are now faced with them to an extraordinary degree. There's something appropriate about that word, degree. So now, the whole crisis may, of course, have thrown you into despair. I myself had a couple of really heavy bouts of depression, prompted by the thought that this pandemic had stolen a year of my life. Well, depressions do pass if you're fortunate. And I'm now resuming the life I thought I knew, only to find that many things have already changed without my knowing it. The traffic routes through London, for example, are all different to what I knew before. So are the ways that people shop and the ways people eat. And that will be true of your life too. Whatever the future holds, this is the time for you to have a say in it, not just choosing for your personal life which route to take, but in your life as a citizen too. The future of education will be changing. And the way Birkbeck works will probably change with it. I think the way Birkbeck works will become more popular and more suitable for many people's ways of life. So spread the message, won't you? Tell them how you've enjoyed studying and what success you've had. Tell people around you about Birkbeck and how it tries to accommodate people's working lives so it can add value to them. Knowledge makes life richer, and yours has now become richer too. Congratulations, everyone.
Welcome to the Birkbeck alumni community.
You might be in the UK or much further afield.
It might be morning, afternoon or evening.
Wherever you are right now, we as fellow members of the Birkbeck alumni community want to send our congratulations to you for what you've achieved.
Completing a course at Birkbeck in normal circumstances is by no means an easy endeavour.
So what you have accomplished is really something truly special.
Today you are graduating, and you should take a moment to reflect what a huge accomplishment this is.
Completing your studies does not mean the end of your Birkbeck journey.
You are joining a community of over 60,000 alumni in over 140 different countries.
So no matter where you are in the world,
you won't be far from a fellow Birkbeck graduate.
There are lots of exciting events, activities, and opportunities for you to stay connected with Birkbeck.
Visit bbk.ac.uk/alumni
to find out more and update your contact details.
We are proud to share this day with you.
Have a wonderful time celebrating.
Congratulations.
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 Congratulations.